Welcome to Ugly Oysters. This video is one of a series of discussions based on Jordan Peterson's book Beyond Order. Today we look at Peterson's chapter called Rule 9. If old memories still upset you, write them down carefully and completely, which challenges us to make use of the information that can only be found in our negative memories. Can it be possible that our past traumas have something to offer our future? I have posted timestamps below if you wish to locate anything specific, and I do hope you enjoy the view while considering these important ideas.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
Oh, seems you are in another place.
Well, we're both on the beach, but
It's kind of like a casino.
Yeah, I have a different kind of view now. Yeah, it looks like Tofino a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But still have a bit of a ghostly image. My hair is floating like fire.
That's the wind.
Yeah, that's the wind.
The strangest thing is the ocean don't have any wave.
Yeah, it's another one of those glitches in the Matrix.
So how are you? Seems there a week we make the last video.
Yeah, I think so. Just a little bit over. Yeah, by the time this gets posted, it'll be about a week and a half.
I see. So do you mind give us a summary of the new chapter, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, okay. Summary and then talk. So the chapter of this title is If Old Memories Still Upset You, Write Them Down Carefully and Completely.
Mm-hmm.
And it right away the title struck me as something. Oh yeah, that's something I do. I write down my memories.
But you write down every memory, right?
I write down a lot, so that I already have a writing tendency. Yeah. And the first section is called "But Is Yesterday Finished With You?" And as usual, Peterson is setting the scene in the first section. And he talks about what happens in life if we do bad to others, or if someone does bad to us.
Mm-hmm.
And, he says, do you try to avoid repeating it? The situations, the memory, it provokes fear and shame and guilt in people. Either when bad things have been done to us or when we do bad things to people. And then he says why. He says the human has an emotional system that has evolved to protect us. And its one message is, don't repeat mistakes. And how does it do that? It does that by provoking fear, depression, anxiety when we face similar situations. Our body knows more than our mind in this case. And our mind still hasn't mapped some situation thoroughly, hasn't understood it, but our body has. And it's sending us messages. And that's basically the premise of his chapter. And then he takes us through some examples and then draws a conclusion. I'm going to skip the first example and then I'll come back to it after. The second example is called Possessed by Ghosts. So here you get this sense of something residing inside a person. They're possessed. In fact, he had a client who his family joked, and even the client joked, that maybe he was possessed by a demon or something. because he had a odd behavior. He had trouble sleeping. Um, he would curl up like a baby, and his body would twitch and stuff. And this would always happen just when he's falling asleep, and then that would wake him up, and then he would have trouble sleeping again. And this went on for a long time. And he seemed like an otherwise pretty intelligent guy. Anyway, the long and short of the story is that Peterson realized that this client had an unresolved memory, and it was a memory of a fight he had with his lover, or his boyfriend, or whatever. And the main issue was that his client had never been able to understand the evil that can reside in people, the malevolence, as Peterson calls it. He always thought people were basically good, and he was unable to resolve the trauma of his experience because he couldn't believe the look he saw in his boyfriend when they had a fight, and it really was physical, where the guy looked like he wanted to kill him, and it just shocked him. I found some of this reading to be dark. I didn't enjoy reading it, frankly. You have a drink. Another section is called Uncomprehended Malevolence, and again, Peterson goes back to the same basic theme. Not understanding that people are basically bad. And again, another client suffering from a series of symptoms. He could barely talk. He had twitches. He saw illusions like shapes floating around that he was trying to grab. He was on antipsychotic medicine, and he could hardly talk meaningfully. It was very difficult even to interview him. And again, this was a client who was, he had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend broke up with him, but was really mean, and started getting all the social, the people in his social circle to kind of bully him and make fun of him and so on. And again, this guy, he just couldn't understand because he thought people were basically good. And one of these clients, I don't remember who, one of the things that he was assigned was to read The Rape of Nanjing. I remember that title because I've read that book. Just to see how disgusting and terrible people can be, but then also to read it from the perspective that he also could be that terrible. Like to recognize that this is within all humans. And to confront it, to realize that that's how people can be. And this realization caused the boy to recover, to begin to find his own strength, and so on. Now, I skipped the first part, because the first part I didn't quite get. It's called Do Not Fall Twice into the Same Pit. And this story doesn't follow the pattern of the other two stories that Peterson writes. This is about a woman who, as a child, was molested by someone and still had traumatic memories of it. But as Peterson explored it further, the person who molested her was also a child, just 2 years older. And he basically walked her through her memories and asked her if she could just look at another 6-year-old and just notice how young and naive they are, and understand that her attacker was at that age, and maybe she can understand it differently. And by understanding it differently, she was able to kind of revise her memory and suddenly lost the trauma from it. Even as I'm talking, I think I have some idea of why he put that section in there. I think it was just another way of understanding malevolence. Like, there's degrees of it, and I think she, as a child, maybe saw this boy as a big monster, but as an adult, she realized he was just a boy, and there was a difference in interpretation that occurred, and that allowed her to revise her memory of the malevolence. And he found that kind of fascinating, that just by changing the way you remember a situation, it can affect your thinking. And that also seems to be the constant pattern of the other two situations, too. The other two situations are that you think people are good, and then you're shocked by their desire to kill or destroy you. And revising that memory with an awareness that, oh yeah, they can desire to kill or destroy you, then somehow that changes your ability to cope with it. Both of those second examples, I think the people were raised to believe that people were angels, or people were basically good, and that left them incapable of dealing with hostility. So then Peterson does a section called Potential into Actuality, and he talks about the great mystery that's involved with creation. And here he's not talking so much about artists, but just the way we can create the world by our own attitudes and actions and choices. And he doesn't say it directly, but he implies that we need to take responsibility and not merely let life happen to us. We need to make active choices. And that leads to the final section, where it's called The Word as Saviour. And here he uses Christian symbols to support his view that when we confront the chaos of the possibilities of an unrealized life, we need to let those possibilities teach us something, and that might shake our foundations. It might cause us to let go of false beliefs. That's kind of the common theme of all three stories, letting go of false beliefs. But this requires wanting, knowing, and acting on the true word, on what's really real, which is, you can get into a whole philosophy classes about what's really real, but he's being very practical in this case. So how about we go back to revisit the sections and see if you had any reactions to them or any thoughts, because I know sometimes you do and they get lost along the way. The first section, but is yesterday finished with you, when he sets the scene, about people doing bad to others or you doing bad to them, and having that physical reaction that's speaking to you. Did you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I want to say something now.
Oh, okay.
There is a children video called Inside Out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched that.
It sounds familiar.
Okay, it's a girl. She moved with her family to a new city, but she got difficulty to adapt to. Then it's how her emotion, in this changing time. So there is anger, there is a joy, there is a sad, there is whatever, there is a main emotion there. So then when this collapse and that also collapse, it's all together. When I watched this movie with my daughter the first time, I just got stunned. Then I just realized, wow, like how Western culture is so good at predict the emotion, even in kids' movie. Like we are never never have this kind of education. This is one thing. The
So
other thing
so
is seems we never think emotion is something you can educate kids. You know, like seems emotion is something will interfere your life. So usually, like we always like put down emotion. Like the adults were told us, the one who didn't show any emotion on the face is the gentleman, is the good boy. Of course, girls is not included here. So that's the one who show the emotions on the face. That means they are lower class. They're not good at control their emotion. So they're not educated well. So, in this kind of teaching, gradually, emotion becomes something you need to fight with, you need to conceal with, you need to like not identify it with. So it's like a people got a cold, catch a cold. Then they are, they were like have the medicine to put down the fever, but if they don't eat other medicine to deal with the real cause of the fever, do you think it will recover? It will never. So the emotion just inside everyone, using a twisted way to show it. So this is what I feel like here. It's more good education in emotion area. So when Peterson talk about this, like you just now when you talk your summary, you said emotion is is a kind of something to protect you.
yeah.
When you have emotion, there is something wrong. So then you're gonna notice it, and then you're gonna sense it, then you're gonna protect yourself. But if the emotion viewed as something you should neglect, you should put down, you should hide it, then you will never know like if you're hurt or not hurt. So I think this is cause the people, why somehow I felt my people like kind of they have something, but now I understand like why, because they never learn how to use emotion, this sensor, to be aware of themselves. So either seems very easy to be manipulated or manipulate people. So there is no caring about emotion. I think this is the main reason.
Hmm.
So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like a person can be have an emotion or have a feeling, and one way to respond to it is someone can say, uh, is something bothering you? Are you okay? What did you want to talk about it? Or someone could say, what's wrong with you? Why are you feeling like that? And then it's a
Yeah,
kind of a accusation that you are having a feeling and
yeah,
you shouldn't have it. So in the first case, it's try to understand the emotion better, try to understand what's
hmm,
going on with you. In the second case, it's try to put you down because you're having any emotion at all.
hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the second, section you talk about the rape of Nanjing, and I know that I read about this author's experience, and like she finally can't stand the darkness of the humanity, and she suicide. And also, you mentioned like Peterson talk about the darkness, the dark side of human being,
Yeah.
and how it attacked people or something like that, or even you were attacked other people. So the dark side is there. So then I think I remember Peterson said most patient in his clinic is the naive person. Because this naive person, they always think the world should be beautiful, people should be nice, and everything is just like in heaven. So they didn't face the real world at all. So that whatever they face a kind of the imaginary heavenly world for themselves. And I think people love to be in that kind of a world. It's like our desire. But you create heaven on the earth by this way. Actually, you make yourself fragile, and you're gonna, be hit by the world badly, and maybe finally you will go dead. Just like this author, because at that time I don't understand. I just feel so sorry for her killing herself. But I also feel deeply with her because at that time I'm also going through my own darkness. And I also think human being can be that bad which you can never accept. And the thing is also the humanity will change while get some sort of training. So you see, like I also read her book about how the Japanese soldier by training, you know, from the beginning why they killed a pig, they were like vomiting. Then they started to kill people, then they vomiting. Then started to kill girls, and so this is the kind of a procedure you can training. And that means we individual, if we are that Japanese soldier, we also can be trained like that evil. So this, I think, somehow is she can't accept. Because she can't accept humanity basically have that kind of a dark aspect.
Yeah.
So I think at that age, when I read her book, I also in that kind of understanding of the world. So I also can't accept the darkness of the humanity. But actually, recently I felt when you reject the darkness of humanity that hardly, actually you give this darkness of humanity the power. It becomes stronger and stronger. It's gonna eat up you really, just like this author. Finally, she can't stand it and let that darkness eaten up her. So now I finally understand why she has no way to go, because she really hates it. But this hate, I say like our feeling emotion, I think it's an energy. When you have this hate energy go outside, you also like being bounced back the same energy to attack you. So when you like fight, you also get this bounced back energy to be fought by that energy. So to me, I just think maybe should learn a way to accept that dark energy finally. How you accept, I think maybe you just start to learn, don't fear about it. You just take it as really part of you. It's just one part of you you should admit and accept. Then, when the other people or when the world shows some this kind of extremely dark energy, you gonna learn how to face it. So this is, I think, I felt I kind of reached some point to know how to deal with this dark energy. So this is very good too.
What a good reaction. That was just the very first section of the chapter. um, well, that.
No, this is the second already.
Oh, I see. Well, that
Yeah.
provoked a few further thoughts in me. It reminds me, I have mentioned on a previous video of another psychologist, Gerald May,
Mhm.
who integrates his psychology with religion, and he comes from the basic background of Christianity, but I think he also adheres to many other broader belief systems.
Mhm.
And his final book he wrote before he died, I don't recall the title, but it was something like Finding the Wilderness in You or something like that. Again, I'll put that in
Mhm.
the notes. But he
Mhm.
devoted, like, on one hand, his book was all about going into the wilderness alone,
Mhm.
unarmed. Like, he he basically set up a tent where he just was isolated in the wilderness with all the wild animals and everything. And
Mhm.
um, there was a part of him that wanted to bring a gun with him because he feared that wildness.
Mhm.
And he knew he was getting a bit crazy when he started thinking about bringing a gun. But when
Mhm.
he went into the wilderness, he had to confront those fears, and he would hear sounds at night. He thought all kinds of
Mhm.
things were happening, and he had to
Mhm.
live through that. But that's just one. Maybe I'm not even sure how relevant that is, except that he's facing a kind of inner darkness when he does that. But he also
Mhm.
dedicated a chapter to human violence. I think he came across an animal that had clearly been destroyed needlessly by a
Mhm.
human. And um, he too declared that it's important for us to understand the darkness of human nature, and to recognize that that is
Mhm.
part of life too. And that's
Mhm.
part of living in the wilderness, living wild, living free, is
Mhm.
realizing that. So somehow there's some freedom found in that understanding. The author of The Rape of Nanjing faced human
Mhm.
violence and destroyed herself. And I'm not sure if what you said is that was her own violent reaction to human violence or something. Did
Her what?
her own violent reaction to human violence was to kill herself?
Mm, I think she just too frightened or too don't want to believe that human nature, that side of human nature. I mean, she rejected it. When she rejected it hardly, it actually bounced back to her.
Yeah. So then she became violent on herself. She
Yeah,
actually,
because she can't stand this thinking
yeah,
that she will be one part of this
yeah,
darkness, this ugliness.
mm, yeah. But
Yeah,
actually, I think,
this why I think the pureness, like you see the fascism beauty. It's all this pureness, very pure, very exact same, just like a machine.
yeah,
There is no any deviation.
yeah,
You make the human body like a machine, have no any deviation. This kind of a pureness is the fascism beauty view,
yeah,
and this pureness caused evil arise.
yeah,
So you see, you have this good intention, pureism,
yeah,
but what happened? The evils.
yeah,
Because why? Because you reject the evil. You want to reject the evil. So this also make me think of this Jehovah's Witness, their belief. They also want the pure, the only God. What they believe is God is only good. God is only nice.
yeah,
God is only love. There is no other part of God.
yeah,
So this is the pureness what they believe. So actually, I think it's not uh, reality.
Yeah.
So this caused the narrow, like they narrowed their view tunnel to the world. So it's not reality. As long as it's not reality, that's wrong.
Yeah.
So then, if you perceive this world in the wrong way, then you got to take the result.
Yeah. Yeah.
So since this is the rule, because
Yeah.
at that time I don't understand. I think people pursue like this author. People pursue beauty. People want righteous. People want all the goodness. Why they kill themselves?
Yeah.
Feel
Yeah.
so sad about that.
Yeah.
But now I understand because your pure goodness is not enough to really have a battle.
Yeah. Too pure to live in this world.
Yeah. So like, if you want to win the battle to the badness, even you should accept the badness at the first. Then you fight with it. So then I just realized when Jesus on this cross, he would say, "Forgive them, Father, because they don't know." So that means he accepts this darkness of humanity. He understands. But does he tolerate it? No. All of his life, he fight with it. But he fight with like a base, which is accepted.
Yeah.
I think this author, I even have tears. I don't know why, just to think about Jesus. So I don't want to be a religious jar. But you see, this daughter, this author, I think she just don't want to accept this darkness. So if she write a book like Cross Jesus, this kind of a book, she may also can't accept the dark humanity on the people around that time, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is the main thing. Like, if you want to fight the darkness, you need at least accept we are dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
this is very good.
kind of also in religious way, it's also kind of a surrender, like not surrender, like vulnerable. Vulnerable means you don't fight at first. You accept the reality. Then you can fight with it, specifically on this issue or that issue. But on the basic humanity, you need to accept humanity. Sometimes it will be dark. Yeah, that's the case.
Sister, that's good preaching.
Well, I'm not a Christian yet, maybe in some Christians' eyes. But I just believe in Jesus.
Yeah. But you actually started taking the topic in the direction I was going to go as well. I also think that,
Oh, really?
yeah, I also think that this ties to Peterson's other chapter on abandoned ideology. Why? Because ideology is too simple, I was going to say. You said too pure. I was going to say too simple, and Peterson always draws us back. I mean, again, he's from a Christian culture, primarily Christian oriented view, but his whole book series is about the yin and yang concept of the dark and positive energies intertwining. So he insists that our broad-based, long-range traditions have more truth in them about reality. And I also think Christianity has that balance. It teaches us that man is made, or humanity, or people are made in the image of God. And being made in the image of God, we must obviously be good. But then it also teaches that we've fallen. And
Mhm.
fallen means we're not that good anymore. And in fact,
Mhm.
it's, we have this potential for great harm. And
Mhm.
there are Christian sects that I would say
Mhm.
have ideologically Puritan beliefs that
Mhm.
we can just live without sin and so on, and I just don't think that's
Mhm.
possible. And
Mhm.
I think that the teaching that Christ or Jesus was God incarnate, uh, God made flesh, is the teaching that God Himself made Himself to be imperfect for us. Imperfect meaning what? He became
Mhm.
human. He became like us. He had desires like us, and
Mhm.
um, he was the embodiment of perfection and imperfection. Or um,
Mhm.
the way I translate that for myself is Jekyll and Hyde. I have a good aspect and I have a bad aspect, and I need to accept both before I can move
Mhm.
on with any kind of sanity. And the
Mhm.
thing is, like, I don't know who said it. I think it's a Canadian author, Robertson Davies, who in one of his books, I'm not sure which, kind of got across the
Mhm.
idea that if you, well, I also think it's in accordance with Jungian psychology, that when you accept that dark side, that dark energy, it can even
Mhm.
become a friend to you. It can even help you
Yeah.
through life. That dark energy is also part of God in you, actually. Um,
Mhm.
like there are verses in the Bible that talk about God's anger. He's like a drunkard waking
Mhm.
up and, causing a big scene. That's in the Psalms, I
Mhm.
think. There's
Mhm.
this, this is part of a more holistic view of humanity. Now, that being said, I don't like viewing that. I prefer to
Mhm.
be naive. In that's
Mhm.
And so this is kind of a problem for me. This is a challenge for me because intellectually I
Mhm.
know I should balance these things.
Mhm.
Yes, people are good. They were created good. Yes, people have
Mhm.
fallen. I always want to lean on the goodness of people.
Mhm.
But the other
Mhm.
side I have, it is a bit of a dilemma because if this was the only chapter I read from Peterson, I think I'd want to
Mhm.
protect my son from ever reading it. Because if
Mhm.
that's the only thing you think about, it's going to be kind of depressing.
Mhm.
And I think that's also a distortion. It has to be kept in balance. People are also capable of doing amazingly wonderful things as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I agree and totally agree. I think this chapter to me, um, it's really helpful because I think I always keep some, memories there. So it should be like write it down or something. I mean, he also gave a practical way, kind of give you the power over the darkness, like over the dark memory, what you had. Like the example, the boy actually only 2 years older than her. But as a girl at that time, 4 years old, she may just see a monster,
Yeah.
So that this monster feeling always in her, and this kind of captured her,
Yeah.
paralyzed her. So
Yeah.
I think everyone, maybe we all have this kind of thing. Let's say if a woman got raped, like if she really got raped, not just in his book, this 2-year-old boy,
Yeah.
bullied her or something. But also, how long are you gonna keep this memory in your mind? How
Yeah.
long this memory gonna paralyze you?
Yeah.
Like how long are you gonna live in this darkness?
Yeah.
Have the vulnerability feeling along your life?
Yeah.
Let it capture you all the way along. So I just felt, yeah, like lots of people, including me, we never let this kind of a memory go because we never tried to solve it. Because why we never tried to solve it? Because we give the memory too much power. Because we think we never can win this darkness aspect. So actually, before we fight, we already surrendered. Before fight, our fear already gives so much power to this darkness memory. So I think by reading this chapter, I just think actually, actually that memory maybe not that much huge that you never can fight, you never can win it. And actually you just need to find a way to solve it. So I think Peterson, this kind of a practical talking, including write it down as completely as possible, this kind of a suggestion, I think it's just very, very useful. Yeah. So he is so, so smart and helpful.
Yeah, so for some people, I guess that means they're going to spend a lifetime of writing.
Yeah, but even that, you see, this is how you change the bad side to be good. If your sorrowness, your dark memory become a book, then you're gonna save other people's, just like Peterson did.
So, like the author of Educated,
Yeah,
seems she
you're reading that book now.
started to. I haven't gotten very far, so I don't have
Uh,
too many thoughts about it. But I think, from my understanding of her, um, I just guess that she has worked through some of her past by writing that book.
yeah, she said she just write it down and not twist any story, as objectively as possible.
Yeah,
Even writing down something maybe not good to herself.
yeah.
And my daughter also finished reading that book
Mm,
by my recommendation.
mm,
And she also said this writing down completely really helps her too. And because she just talking about the educated girl, she said, "Oh, I have the same habit as her. If something happened to me, I feel so sad or whatever. I write every detail down,
yeah,
including how I was hurt." So then I think why she write down, she actually doing the ceremony, doing the ritual thing
yeah,
to sorrow, to feel sad, to feel regret for this something what she lost in the past. And then she make a closure, put this package aside, move on. And she said when she moved on to some stage, when she look at the package, seems the package already solved. So this I also think it's a good way. Like if I stick with the package, always try to solve it right now, fight it right now, and without acceptance, like accept this already happened to me. I can't do anything with the past. If I can't be this way, I'm gonna be always stuck in the past. So I think maybe lots of people they just didn't have the will how to go away from the past, not stuck in the past. So I think this is really useful. Should recommend it to lots of people.
yeah. Should recommend to lots of people. But now here's the other thing. I can think just now in moments, I can think of 4, 6 people that I know whose thinking is this: should not
Mm-hmm.
should not allow emotion to direct you. Should not let these. In fact, some of the people I know actively, religiously try to separate themselves from their emotion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
So first people not allow, second people try to suppress down. Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah. First,
So
yeah,
your question is how you think about these people.
yeah. What do you think about them?
Uh, I just didn't get your question. You mean what do you think about what I mean?
Okay,
I mean
let me put it
comment
this
on.
way. Do you not know people in your own circle of friends or family whose belief is almost exactly the opposite? I mean, you mentioned in Chinese culture they educate you that the person with feeling is the strange one or the lower one, right?
Yeah,
And
the not educated one.
I know many people who are similar to this actually, and they on purpose even will say should not have feeling, need to move yourself away from that so that you can be happy.
Yeah, yeah. So this is what I felt. It's also a kind of detached.
Yeah,
You know, like the author, like of Rape of Nanjing,
yeah,
she confront, then she got stunned, then she can't accept.
yeah,
Then she actually killed herself. Why kill? Actually, it's also flee away from that darkness. So the person you said, I think it's similar. Just when they confront it, they're not as serious as this author. They also confront, also maybe they haven't confronted yet. They just saw it from far away and they felt, oh, I don't want to face that. So they run away quickly. They run away earlier. So they even don't bother to deal with it in the very early age. But the author I talked about, I think she go deeper. She go closer. So you see, these people, if they saw this example, they will say, look, that's the final result
yeah,
if you really confront that.
right,
So why we should be that stupid? So we'd better like flee away in the beginning.
yeah,
So they were never try to confront. So I think compared to the author, these people are more coward and they live a light, shallow life, and they felt it's so good, you know. But this is not the same as like you write it down. You actually, while you write it down, actually you already confront it.
yeah.
You already like experience it. By writing down, actually
In
you
as much
accept.
in as much
Yeah,
detail as
yeah.
possible.
You accept it vulnerably, you know.
Yeah,
So it's not flee away. It's facing, it's confront. And then you put it aside. It's just like give you a space to breathe. You move on. Then later you still look back to see how it is going. So this is more responsible
yeah,
way, I think, to treat with your dark memory.
yeah. So I have several thoughts.
Especially if the
Mhm.
dark memory always bother you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the points is if that dark memory always bothers you or you have some behavior about
Unsolved
yourself.
emotion.
Yeah, well, some behavior about yourself that you don't understand and that is disrupting your life, like the boy who couldn't sleep because his body's always twitching.
Yeah, yeah.
Um so I have a few thoughts. One of them is I believe if you don't know how to hate, you can't express love. If you don't know how to be sad, you can't be joyful. Like
Yeah,
each
right.
each of these emotions comes with its partner.
Yeah,
And like you can't be all happy, happy, happy. Like
yeah.
there's Lego World place. I'm just trying to remember the name of it. It's some kind of fantasy. Oh, I can't remember the name. Anyway,
Okay. It's just like the Inside Out, the movie. Finally, how this movie ending? Because the girl always want this happy, happy feeling. And the happy, happy feeling always wanted to help the girl out of the darkness, you know? But
yeah,
it never worked. Until when it works. Until she finally accepted the sadness feeling.
yeah,
She start to cry. She start to feel sad. She start to feel the lost by the moving to a new city. Then she mourned for it. Then she welcomed the happiness back.
yeah,
Started to join the new world. So into all together. That's
yeah,
why at that time I was so amazed about the movie. Because in our culture, sadness is bad. When a kid fall on the ground and broken his knees, the parents will just say, "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, be brave." You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
let even not let him have a time to feel the pain. You know,
yeah, yeah,
because shed tears is being viewed as wrong,
yeah,
as bad,
yeah,
as something to be ashamed of. So if the expression becomes something you should conceal. So that's the thing. So if you never accept the sadness, if you never accept the pain, how you can accept the goodness? Because you have no corner for the goodness, happiness. Because all your heart actually occupied by this pain. So that's why I think Peterson say write it down.
yeah,
Write it down is get the sadness out of your heart
yeah,
which occupy all your heart. You get it out. Leave some space for your heart to breathe.
yeah. Lego World calls that happy, happy place Cloud Cuckoo-land, and I just think
Oh,
that's a hilarious name for it.
mm,
Um, so, but I still feel that we need to push this just a little bit more because I think the people who don't want to have these feelings are dominantly left-brained people.
mm-hmm,
And so I feel that they are maybe on one hand afraid to experience emotion, on another
mm-hmm,
hand maybe not sure how to experience emotion.
mm-hmm,
And and so those two combine together possibly into a philosophy of don't have feelings, you know.
mm,
Um, but I also think, like I can hear C.S. Lewis talking in my mind. He's another Christian writer. And I think
mm-hmm.
C.S. Lewis would say some people are able to come closer to joy than others
Yeah,
simply because they're ready for it. Like it, what our
simple what?
talking is,
Think you love the sound.
simply because they are ready for it.
Huh.
Like Jesus said, I have many things to say to you now, but you're not able to bear it.
Mm-hmm,
There's a progression for people, and maybe some people, like, we're talking about what Peterson is saying, that the ideal thing is to face this darkness, or
mm-hmm,
face emotion even.
mm-hmm.
And some people may not be ready for that. So I'm also trying to look at the other side. Like, there are people who all they want is peace, and what they mean is, I don't want to be faced with the chaos of all this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, how to move forward with this thinking into a world where there are these people also. I think you already said one solution to it, which is, well, if there's certain things bothering you and you want to get rid of them, you got to look at it. I think another thing is to just realize that the best life is lived on the border, as Peterson says, between chaos and order. And that border may change as our lives move forward. We may be more interested in facing the chaos of our feelings at certain times. Yeah, every person has their own sort of procedure to face these things, and their own capability, I guess. Like, I just don't think everyone can be this deep feeling person. It's too much. That's why we rely on the artists. We let them explore that territory for us.
Draw your feeling out.
Yeah.
Draw your taste out.
Right.
Yeah. It's also kind of experiencing life more.
Yeah.
'Cause we are this human being. Like, we have this machine.
Yeah.
To help we extend our arm, extend our feet, extend our brain. All of the thing, actually, it's extend our experience in the world. The more experience, you feel more alive. This is how you feel energetic. You feel life is good.
Yeah.
So everything, I think artist is extend your emotion, extend your feeling of the world.
Right.
Yeah, everything, I think it existed.
Right.
Is reasonable and useful.
And just like not everybody can extend our experience in the technology world, also not everybody can go so far in the emotion world. They're just not capable.
Yeah. And also there is a preference. Some people, they preference this.
Yeah.
Some people, their preference is that.
Yeah. So
because we feel like we have the short time,
Yeah. And
we have a limitation.
Yeah, and that's rooted in our biology, our right brain, left brain tendencies, and our histories, and so on.
So just accept your limitation there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If you desire, you go for it. If you don't desire, accept it.
Right.
Yeah, but just don't hide it.
Yeah.
Pretend you don't desire to be a coward.
Right.
Yeah, so this is what I feel. So the last section you said is what? Do you mind remind?
The last section I think is kind of two sections about the potential of life and about how in many ways we create the world we're going to live in by our choices, and that we should not just let life happen to us. We need to be active in shaping it. And that chaos...
It's kind of like, what do you think? What do you made?
Yeah. And so, what do you want your life to be like 20 years from now? Well, you need to do it now. You start shaping it now. And also, the way you think is going to influence it. If you think everyone is good, everyone is an angel, that's going to shape your behaviors as you move forward into that world. And if it's a distorted view, that's going to shape your future.
Yeah, right.
And so the other part of the ending of that chapter is the word as saviour, where he's talking about wanting, knowing, and acting on what is real. That this is how we are able to confront the unrealized possibilities of life. Like, there's so much that life offers us.
Yes.
And as long as we're willing to eagerly, truly desire to know and act on what is real, then that is going to guide us forward better. Yeah.
Yeah, this yeah, I don't have anything to talk about this.
Okay. So, if you take everything as a whole and you put it in just a few words, what title would you give to this chapter?
Mm, embrace your like your memory, or embrace your bad memory, kind
I
of.
see. I see. Embrace your
Yeah,
bad memory.
yeah. I just think it need to accept. So that's like we say yin and yang. I think now I think it really have the wisdom.
Yeah.
Before, if you grow up in that culture talking about yin and yang, it already become kitschy, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like something deeply. It's like just a symbol there, you know. Put on your clothes, put on somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like a brand. But
Yeah.
now I just think if you don't understand yin and yang, you only want to accept yang, then there has been no good, because yin represents bad and a
Yeah.
woman.
I
so
see. You gotta
so
accept the
everything
bad
happened to
woman.
a dynasty. Say, oh, the dynasty finally had finished. Oh, because there was a two bad woman, like seduced the king to do bad things all day and can't deal with the kingdom business. so so women always represent bad, evil, strengths.
Yeah.
Even in do you know Chairman Moore, right?
A little bit.
Um, Yeah, so Chairman Moore has Chairman Moore's third wife, who is an actress before, and she was interested in political stuff. But then Chairman Moore's, these people all follow Chairman Moore, admire Chairman Moore. But the one thing they never listen to Chairman Moore is suppress your wife's power. They even have a meeting, write it down, make Chairman Moore sign there, say your wife never can go into any business issue, any political issue. So you see, they viewed in that woman as the dark energy so much. That's why they're so afraid of woman energy. But then actually these people, maybe they are seduced by women and go to jail. Who knows? I mean, just something you are so afraid of actually becomes something really guide you to hell, so you can't be so afraid of something.
Yeah, gotta accept the bad woman. You know, somehow I listen to Eric Lee sometimes. He's a representative of the Chinese voice to the Western world. And
Yeah,
he mentioned something about how Chairman Mao's wife was accused and punished. I don't
yeah.
remember what that talking was for, but I think
It's for cultural revolution. So say she is the one who should be responsible for the cultural revolution and put into jail.
yeah, I think that might be what Eric Lee was saying. But I'm gonna check it again, and I'll post that in the notes too.
uh, I told you before maybe about this four people again.
Yeah.
Like I say, one is her, three is other like a journalist or something,
Mm,
just people who write on the newspaper or something. And they say they four creates this cultural revolution. And so they four was put into jail, then it's finished.
yeah. So the Chinese themselves have punished the people responsible for the Cultural Revolution. So then
Yeah, that's these four people.
I see,
They are responsible for the
not
cultural
Chairman Mao, because
revolution.
he's a man.
And the leader is the woman, which means dark energy, means yin.
I see,
So always there is a bad thing happen. of course, there should be a bad woman there. You can find it.
The Ying energy.
Yeah, the yin energy.
Ah,
That's
and your
that's the
eyes
thing.
are flashing while you're talking. Ying energy. Uh, okay,
Yeah.
well, that's a good title. My title would simply be Understand Evil. Like, don't,
Yeah, it's very, very academic.
yeah, very academic. Maybe, yeah, but something like that. Meaning, you gotta face it. You gotta
Oh, you may can say kiss the evil.
kiss the evil. There we go. There
Yeah.
we go.
Or you may say, yeah, kiss the evil
I
or
might,
kiss the aim, you know?
I might,
You are none. You definitely always would be attracted by a woman or an inside, you know?
or
Because
kiss,
you represent this young side,
because
right?
I'm thinking what title to put on the video. Maybe kiss the devil, kiss the evil. Yeah, maybe kiss the evil. That might be it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe this is how people should learn.
yeah.
I really learned this from Peterson because
So
I reject the evil so much, just like the author of Rape Nanjing.
okay, so just before we wrap up, what score would you give this chapter out of 10?
So far, I love this the most. I haven't read the others.
I see. So, uh, what out of 10? What would that be? Love the most means
7.
7. I see. So, wow,
I'm a
your love
conservative
standard,
Chinese, so
your love
I will not
standard is
give
so
the high
high.
score. 7 is very high.
I see. If I say 7, I mean it's good.
We Chinese like when the kids come to US, come to Western, they will feel, oh, the teacher's so nice, always encourage you, say you're wonderful, you're wonderful. But then later they felt, oh, they talk to everyone this. It doesn't mean anything.
I
So
see.
sometimes I think too extreme way, like praise, maybe also not good.
Well, I
Because when
remember.
in China, a teacher praise you, that means really praise you.
I
She
see.
really think you are smart, you're good, you're excellent.
Mm.
But here, every teacher say, "Oh, you're cool, you're wonderful, you can do it, you can." Then you finally actually get nothing, you know.
Yeah, well, that is a whole other issue. I mean, how do you achieve excellence if you treat uh, the minimal effort as being excellent? Then it's kind of like you have to have some
It's
kind of,
cheating. It's playing.
yeah, yeah.
It's actually like a feed the kids so much, encourage candy, but actually will not get their engine run.
Yeah. Well, I I don't know how this fits, but being that I'm a teacher,
Sorry,
yeah,
because you say 10 and 7 and 10. I just say to us Chinese, 7 is already good, very good. So if something gonna reach to 10, then your eye is gonna be dropped down.
yeah.
That means that's much good.
Well, and I like this chapter, but I didn't like it so much, so I give it a 7.
Okay, so 7 and 7. Good for you, Peterson.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
when I taught in Kuwait, I remember like I would be very nice to the kids. They would love me. I would encourage them. I'd say good things. But then when they got their grade, it would be like 7 out of 10. And they'd look at me and they'd think, "But you like me so much. Why you give me only 7?" You know? They assumed that when I'm giving them praise and I'm saying, "Oh, that's excellent. Oh, that's wonderful," that I mean it's the toppest. I didn't mean that. I just mean good progress so far. Excellent
So I would
progress.
not like this kind of a teacher. I
Well,
would rather like the teacher always say, "Oh, you didn't do this good. You should improve. You didn't do that good. You should improve."
ah,
Then final exam, she would give me a 10.
well, I agree with you. I think you misunderstand me because what they said to me later, one of the students, they said, "Oh, now I understand you. You're just very nice, but you have high standards of
I
performance."
don't think give lower score to kids is high standard. It's the teacher's ego. Think they are high standard.
Okay, well now you're bringing up a whole other topic. I'm gonna delete this. Delete. I'm from delete
I
culture.
just, I
You're
just don't like this kind of a teacher.
you're not allowed to say these things. I'm gonna delete you.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm the Ying, so I don't mind being deleted. I was being deleted everywhere. So you can just delete it.
Okay.
You have the power.
Okay. So anything
Mm.
else to say about this chapter?
No more.
Yeah. I
And
think
thank you
I think that was
to let
good.
me also see the beautiful ocean there.
Yeah.
And then I should walk my dog.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
okay.
I enjoyed talking with you. This was a good discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna enjoy the walking. I don't know if it's raining outside because it's Vancouver, right?
Yeah. It's Vancouver,
Okay.
that's right. But all our video is sun shining. We just look at the positive only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See you.
So, see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's it for today. Come back and check out some of our other videos. Please put your comments below, hit like and subscribe with notifications if you wish to join in conversations with us on other topics.